that you anticipate the signs. Like it's this immediate. I think, you know, like with the discussion today being in the flow, it's like, wow, it's incredible when those things happen, that you know, like if you, like when you go to pick up something that's fallen, that you hadn't even started falling before you reached to pick it up, that kind of anticipation. Yeah, so that happened this week with these dogs, and it was just, how did I know that those dogs were about to start running down the thing before they'd even started running down the thing at my friend's dog? So anyway, that was my week.
Wonderful. It's very useful actually that you shared that, Lisa, because it points, not only to the state of flow, but being in the flow with the universe and global synchronicities. So when you are timed, you know, by looking at the signs, actually it brings your awareness closer to the universal flow. So that means that you are one with all that's going to happen. And that's where you can anticipate things before they even become visible.
You have an example of that at the last chapter of the book Alchemist, how actually by that absolute trust and oneness with the universe, the alchemist was actually in synchronicity with the natural forces and actually could, by his will, command winds, fires, and all the basic elements. So yeah, that's where we are heading. Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else would like to share what were some clear signs that the universe has given you in this previous week based on our last theme?
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm new.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, I just I thought it was nice. I was talking with someone earlier this week, and we were planning a cacao ceremony, tea ceremony as well. After this, and we were thinking about a topic, and it was just about flow, and that came up. So flow and synchronicity. And then this morning, someone shared, Gail, she shared this event, and it was about flow, and it was, you know, just a couple hours before the cacao ceremony. So I just thought it was interesting how everything just fell into place. It's just like when you're in alignment, things just fall into place, and it's just like a sign that, you know, everything's going the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Great to have you, Mike. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, this is our topic for today, exactly. The flow, and what is the flow, and exactly what is the timing, and what is the time itself. And
and there is Marek.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Marek, you'll have something to say on the topic. Wonderful.
Yeah, I could. It's great to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. And Cornelia and Angela, I love to see you guys. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
So, yeah, actually, the idea for this week's topic came, of course, from flow and from synchronicities, because, you know, there is a word out there that what they call a lockdown and what we call the opportunity to actually tune in deeper is going to ease out, and maybe we are ready to continue with our lives, and maybe some things are going to start opening up. So the question came, are we ready for that? And then I looked at the planets to kind of check what this outer layer of our body is telling us. And then I realized that, okay, well, Saturn, the Pluto has completely stopped about a week ago. The Pluto, and when starting going backwards, the actual planet that causes all the transmutations that are going to last for a long time, for 2.5 centuries, yeah? So whatever Pluto transforms today is going to need to serve us for the next 250 years. So it's big time cycles. And then on the 11th, the Saturn is going to join and also stop and start going backwards. And when planets start going backwards, that means that we are actually asked to go back and look inside, because they have gone forward and they say, okay, well, we go backward because you haven't actually seen everything that needed to be seen in this topic. So we give you another period to look deeper and to kind of check what else you need to see. And on the 13th, Venus is going to do the same. So the topics that these planets are bringing for us to look in are really interesting. Yeah. First is going to be about the inner timing. That's Saturn. Saturn is about time. Have you realized how we use time? Have you realized what are your priorities, commitments? What is the state of inner dignity? Do we do things from the state of inner dignity, or we are doing things because the structures that exist tell us to? Yeah, these are the topics that Saturn is bringing. What is exactly the inner timing versus outer timing? And when we look at it, all the planets actually, it's like a big clock. You know that you have a clock. So there is like a big hand and a small hand. The big hand goes one cycle in 1 hour, and then the small hand goes one cycle in a day. Well, all these planets are also like this, the other additional hands on your clock.
So one thing that we couldn't escape during this particular situation is to examine our relationship to time. And Saturn is all about right time and the inner timing, which leads to synchronicities and which leads to flow state in life. So we have been given more time than usually during these months and a half now to see and examine our relationship to time itself and to our inner timing. And everything that we have seen about the outer timing, some might have more time than before, some might have less time, some might have too much time. But where we will head starting from next week, the 13th, when Saturn turns retrograde, it will be absolutely having clear the inner timing, your inner rhythm, your inner preference for how things go, what time you wake up, how you perform your business tasks, what time you go to sleep, how much you want to work, how much you need the time to daydream. So it's all about examining the inner timing, and we thought it would be nice to give you some little things to reflect on, so you're ready to meet Saturn retrograde with a concrete plan of action. But first, maybe we can hear where are you guys at with your timing during this unexpected change of plans?
Well, yeah, actually what I would like to ask you, so we have been stopped, yeah? So like we were running like crazy and we have been stopped. So I would like to ask, what is the most important revelation about how you use time that you have discovered during this period? So one most important revelation, how you use time, and it ties very well to flow, as we will see. So maybe if you want, I can start. What was my huge revelation was that it is so helpful that I could not travel, because, you know, we are hopping the globe left and right, and we are like, you know, traveling probably to more than 10 countries per year normally. So all of a sudden, when this was not available, there was this big sense of relief. Okay, well, I don't have to go and go twice to Bali and 3 times to Singapore or whatever. And it actually opened up amazing level of creativity where we could stay and actually commit ourselves to our projects and ideas. And it was really amazing revelation that when we have less opportunity to dilute ourselves, to me, this was really, really, really cool. I could commit to even making these things online. So that's just one little thing. We have discovered a whole bunch of things that we are really tuning into the
watching the flowers grow, for example,
and learning from that flow. Yes. So how about you guys? Something that, how do you use time now? What is that revelation about how you use time in this period?
Can I start?
Yes.
Hi. So my realization recently is that I'm too focused on the external noise. Anything, but especially things about the current events, even if I know what's going on behind the scenes and all, I'm still kind of like too engulfed in these theories and comments and all. So I'm realizing that I want to take back my time to do what is really important to me. Reading the really very important books that I have in my Kindle and some friends recommended me, and I'm not reading them. So I'm like, why am I listening to all that noise around? And I'm not living my own truth by focusing on what's really important to me to understand the depth of the reality we live in. So yeah, that's the realization I had.
Exactly, wonderful.
Thank
Taking
you.
back the time from outside. Wonderful. Miriam.
Angela and Miriam, who came first? Angela, I saw her hand first.
Okay. So for me, it's a time for a big retreat, a long retreat, and I feel I am traveling also like a nomad through the world, and now I know it's always the right time and the right place and the right people around me, but it changed very very abrupt. So I have had my circle in Swiss, and then I came back, and then there was a lockdown and nothing worked. So I'm sitting like a bird on my eggs and looking what is coming out. I have an idea. The one is a music on go on stage project, and the other is a book writing a book project, and the third one is to clean up my area where I'm right now staying. So I'm building a fireplace. I worked a lot in the garden. I cleaned up my home and make all the stuff that was laying down for years. So and it feels for me very comfortable this time. A part of my work is gone in the moment. This musician and music teaching part also, and playing concerts. But the other part in the consulting bureau is still there. So there's enough money, and for me, I think this year is fine with this. I hope that all the people come out healthy with Corona. Somehow I enjoy it. It's a little bit strange to say it in public to the normal people. They say, what? No, and then I say, yeah, for me it's in this way.
In this environment, it is normal. You know, we don't even use those acronyms or names that are given to something that might be called, you know, whatever. It's whatever is the public noise, as David said, we actually don't subscribe to it. We actually allow it to bounce off of us or to go through. So yeah, everything is completely normal to be shared here. So what I hear you is that you had time to finally get to some important things, to clear your house and to sit on your eggs and to allow them to hatch. So beautiful to hear that.
This music eggs, I got a big timpani, and they were used for powwows from Lakota. It's 1 meter. It's really big sound.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
We want to hear it at some point.
Yeah, but Zoom, it's really, that's a really mess with internet to make music. It's
Thank you, Angela. Beautiful sharing. Thank you.
So these will be topics for the next week that you'll be called to rearrange the house or to re-examine things in the house. That's Venus going retrograde. You'll have a deeper look in the relationships with people, with yourself, with your house, with the place you live, how you live, how you earn money. So that will all come up for review. So be ready, make some time for it. The better you make time for it when the planets are giving you opportunity, the most efficient you'll be when the energy starts flowing back, and you'll have space to create from. So Miriam, yes, how about you, Dan?
Well, I'm looking forward to this retrograde, to be honest, because I've been so busy with studying and reading all the time. I haven't done that for so many years. So my social life became more behind my computer and reading a lot and forwarding to people. So I've been a lot on my own, but kind of busyness, like, oh my God, this is such a special time. Don't waste a minute. You know? So I think, okay, now it's good. I've been reading a lot and studying a lot. Now it's good that things go retrograde to really, yeah. And I realized how much in social life I was, you know, with the constellations weekly, but also people writing me every day, people that I would meet in the streets, in the restaurants, and because I hardly go out, somehow, you know, that's really nice to be more on my own and in my own flow. But yeah, my own flow is also a little bit dominated by all the things that people send to me and I want to read and to watch and to. So now I'm going really into my own flow. Yeah. Yeah, but there's a kind of excitement what has been here over the last weeks. Excitement in the times where we are and what's going to happen, and I want to be informed, and you know, it's like from 1 to 10 informed in all different ways. Yeah, but I enjoy it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So you found yourself busier than usual with learning. It's really, really cool.
So we can see clearly there are two big parts of population. One is having too much time and being bored because all the movies have been watched and all the drawers have been cleaned, and they're getting impatient and living in fear and all that, and not seeing really how is this an opportunity. And the other part of people is like you, Miriam, said, it's so exciting, it's so cool, there's such a potential in the air, and they're getting busier than ever creating and seeing what next, what now, and how can we do it. So, and we have to accept that both categories exist. Yeah, we have heard also from other people in Switzerland that the general opinion is quite dramatic, and not many people see it really as an opportunity. And those rare who do feel almost guilty for being happy, you know. So yeah, but this is where it's heading. Two ways of seeing things, and either is fine. So Anne. Yes.
Yeah, for me too, it's been a very huge time actually, to be in self-retreat, getting to know who I really am, connecting to the earth and with the sun and elements, and really, like, when I have this grounded space and time, I've actually realized how much I have been leaking energy outside, even if I have been hermit before, but still, it's been a big revelation for me. Just having this time to myself actually opens so many things with nature, with sun, creativity, and things like that. I feel like I'm a child again, like I was in my childhood times. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. Yeah, it's being in the cycle with the plants around us, being like completely connected to the nature, to these flows of cycles around us. This is slowly getting into the topic of flow. Yeah. So I think well, we can just share what is like definition of the flow, so that we can kind of be on the same page how we are starting
Marek
this.
can complete.
Marek knows all about it because he's really invested in a topic. So a flow state, also known as a zone, being in a zone, is the mental state in which a person performs an activity and is fully immersed in feeling of energized focus, full involvement and enjoyment in the process of activity. Things seem to happen almost effortlessly, and time seems to disappear while in this state. Athletes often refer to this state of mind as being in the zone. So there's something about it that alters the flow of time. So it's interesting, when we're in a flow, this constant, what used to be constant, an hour stretches itself and becomes longer or shorter, or we completely get out of the measuring of the time itself.
Mm-hmm. We can have a minute or a half a day of a flow, an hour, or a life of flow. And where we would like to head, obviously, is that the whole life is a flow of beautiful synchronicities, of times for work, times for daydreaming, times for playing, times for exchanging, and that we actually know exactly which moment is good for what, that we live in synchronicity with the universal timing. So as Lisa said at the beginning, that how could she know what is the right thing to do before it happened, is because when by all means we follow the universal flow and our inner timing, we're so much in synchronicity with life that things happen, and they happen effortlessly, and we don't have to push anywhere anything. We just go along and do, and let's say with less effort we produce more results. Sometimes, you know, you have those days that you have fixed yourself, I have to find I have to do this, and it's not the day. You could waste the whole day on what little thing getting done, and it's still not there, and you're frustrated at the end of the day having wasted it all. And sometimes unexpectedly, out of program, those same things take 5 minutes and they are done with absolutely no effort. So there is something that has completely altered the way we relate to our inner timing. And these things happen when we were between 0 and 7. Because as Richard Rudd, the author of Gene Key's book, says, children up till 7 years of age should be just set free and allowed to do things in their own timing, with no rules or restrictions other than really strictly necessary. If a child is allowed to just be and live freely till the age of 7, they confirm their inner timing and inner character and personality, which is an asset for the whole life.
Yeah. I mean, just remember, the first 7 years, it seems like we knew perfectly what to do and when. And we didn't need the outside structure, yeah? We didn't need anybody to tell us what. We knew when is the time to play with something, when is the time when we felt hungry. We didn't have a time, this is when we need to eat. We kind of felt, okay, this is when I'm hungry and I eat. We were totally living in the synchronicity with really what's happening. But at some point we were hijacked into these preschools and schools.
Yeah, anyone who has been around children or has children knows that if a child doesn't want to eat, there's no way to force him to eat. He will eat when he feels hungry.
Somebody here knows about it. I see it, yes?
And the child really knows better when he's hungry and what he's hungry for. And when a child needs to sleep, he'll just drop down and sleep. And you can spend hours in forcing a child to sleep and it will not work because it's just not the rhythm. And every child has a different rhythm, and unfortunately in our society we've been told to follow a regime, follow a structure. And
you can even give an example of your daughter wanting to sleep and what the society said about it.
Yeah, well, oh my God, I have had nervous breakdowns with my children who had just odd rhythms of sleeping or waking, and would just want to play in the middle of the night, and it created such a disaster in everything until I just allowed it to be. And and then it all turned fine. And you know, it's odd that the baby is playing in the middle of the night, but you know, that's what it is. There was no way to do it otherwise. So the children have this inherited intelligence of what is their own particular specific rhythm. And that same baby who was playing up in the night, well, now is a 18-year-old lady who actually is most creative at night. She wakes up at 10 or 11, but then in the night she's creating videos and editing, and it has stayed with her for her whole life. And you know, having a school online, actually, well, she was studying in the night because that's her rhythm, that's it. The traditional schools wouldn't be tolerant of someone not being performant at 10 a.m. So what it did to us, rare are the people who have been allowed to play freely till age of 7, and kindergartens, and waking up at 7 a.m. having to be somewhere has actually severely damaged our ability to connect to what's our rhythm. Are we early birds? Are we, you know, night birds? We kind of know, but most of us can, you know, live the whole life against those natural rhythms and try to fit in a structure. And more we try to fit, less we have opportunity to follow the synchronicities, because synchronicities are where we are not there. If we're forced to observe some particular schedule or to be somewhere on time, it might not be our time. So the whole event is undermined by being in the wrong timing for us, and we would be super performant in the same task an hour before or 3 hours later, but not at the time when it's forced to be. So in a way, the homeschooling or distance learning is actually a very interesting way to allow children to follow education however and whenever they're the most receptive and learn best. So in order to reach back to our flow state, we have to retrieve this one fundamental right that has been a little bit damaged in ourselves, which is the inner timing. Learn how to consciously recognize it, acknowledge it, and give it more space. Some people do, like I do, things very perfectly under huge stress. Less time I have, better ideas I have. And it's just like that. And if you give me a month to do the same thing, I will get diluted and still come up with it in the last minute. And it's not a weird glitch in the system. This is how our energies operate. Some people need to do it ahead in order to not be stressed. I need to be stressed to do things. Some people need to daydream in order to, you know, just find that one idea and do it in 5 minutes. And if they're forced to sit on an idea, you know how unsuccessful brainstormings can be. And it's a huge frustration because the ideas don't come when you force them to come in a certain hour. So if you're planning for any new life changes or upgrading your current life, getting in touch with this inner rhythm will hugely help you understand how you work and to respect it above anything else, and to really hold on to it and respect it above anybody else's imposed timings, and finding a way to collaborate with others, but by respecting your flow actually creates miracles. Things are efficient, fast, no excessive talking, no unnecessary mental going back and forth. Things are just easy when you do it when it's the right time for you and universally. For now, we can just follow what's in the stars to understand that it gives us a little bit of mental hint what is the process, but at some point we don't need even to know what turns retrograde. We'll just feel it, that this is a time to, you know, to sit down, to breathe, inspect, retrospect, and integrate, and we'll just know. It's that.
So So we need to have a system to actually help us break out of the forced timing that we have been given, you know, by kind of having to conform to the schedule of the institutions that we were part of. So we started going to school and they told us, okay, well, Monday morning, you have to wake up and come to this institution. For me, Monday was the worst day to start anything. So after years in business, what I had to do is to actually clear out my Mondays from this stress that I have to do something. So for years, I would actually start my week, when I started my own businesses, I would start my week by actually taking a bath Monday morning. And then imagining, oh, okay, great, everybody's going to work. Well, I'm in the bathtub. So it's really, really cool. I had to really kind of clean it up, to that stress of the Monday morning. So the first clue to what is our natural rhythm is actually written in the day in which we are born. So what is the day of birth? Like being born on Monday versus being born on Thursday is completely different energy. Being born on Monday is the person who will be influenced by the planet of the moon. So moon will actually, it means like your first day of the week will always be moody, and it will be kind of the mood swings, and it will be tuned into it will be swayed by emotions. Somebody born on Tuesday is like a person of action. So their first days of the week would actually really work well. They're great to start to wake up and work on Monday. So this is our first clue, is when we were born. What is the day on which we were born? And most of the astrology softwares can actually calculate that for you.
Mm-hmm. So it's worth finding out which day of the week you were born, getting more information about it. So Balinese have the whole horoscope around the day of the day of birth, and so it gives an extra hint of how it relates to energy and inner timing, and that is also actually your most productive day, where deeply meaning personal things can be started and achieved the best. So find out about your day of birth and what it brings to you in addition.
Does some of you even know it already?
Miriam, you have a question?
Well, yeah, not today, but also I'm born on a sunny day in the summer, and I do the best with sunny days. But what I also wanted to say is how you are born. If people are born, for instance, with you know, that they pull them out. I know some people who are writers, and they feel that something is pulling on their head at the moment when they get how do you say, when they start to write. So this they feel again this kind of rebirth. So also how you are born is important for when or how active you are, I guess, kind of the blueprint of the birth. Okay.
It is. Both are actually very important. Hour of birth and day of birth. Of course, everything else around it, as we know from the constellations. Yeah. You wanted to say?
And so how you're born is also, were you born on time? Were you born too early, or was it fast? Was it so it all gives this flavor of where to look for your natural rhythm, how it was before it got modified. So those who, like my daughter, she was born earlier, and she was in rush for everything, like started talking earlier, started walking earlier, got to university earlier. So everything is earlier, and it's just how it is. When we acknowledge and give it space, well, let it be. So accepting our own little differences in timing, the one who is very slow at everything or very fast at everything, we have to not only respect our own being slow or fast or a little bit odd, but we have to respect that rhythm of the closest person. Otherwise, both will be stressed and completely inefficient in collaboration. So when you identify your and the other persons that you live with inner rhythms and respect it, then some very unexpected, beautiful opportunities open, where before was confusion and a little bit of stress because someone has to live on the other person's timing and switching roles. Of course, when it comes to family structure, easier said than done. But still, if there can be some clarity and understanding, at least to know it on a mental level already is a big deal to ease the tensions of timing differences.
So yeah, it is those cycles and knowing where in the cycles that we are. So where in the given cycle you are. So there are you can imagine that we're always part of the clock. So that one clock of the hours of the day is one of the cycles, and you can imagine that the hours of the day is a miniature year. So the second cycle is a year where we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And like in winter, we are naturally having a lower and inward part of the year. Then the spring comes, everything wakes up, like right now in front of us. Then in the summer, everything is blooming and giving fruits, and then there is a harvest time in the fall. But this archetype of 1 year equally works within the day, equally works within the month, and equally works within the cycle of your life. So different planets are actually pointing to those different parts of the cycle. So if we know where our Saturn, for example, is, the Saturn is our teacher that goes, it takes it 30 years to go around. So like first 30 years of our life is one cycle. Then we get into the same lessons from 30 until 60. And then we have a third cycle of the Saturn from the 60 to the 90. But these most important first cycles are your first 3 cycles of 7 years. And literally what gets written in the first 7 years of birth is what we work with the rest of our life.
Yeah, so that's why you can look for clues for sure, if you have a way to remember it or being explained what happened then. A lot of indicators are there. And then so it's clear that our society can't really go on from this point as it did before. The pace was too fast, and it actually really dragged everyone who is not adapted to that fast pace, performing all the time, every day, around the clock, around the year. It was dragging those people in a burnout. So it's clear that this global reset is actually helping everyone to find what works then, what is easier and what is safer for the nervous system.
What is your natural flow, yeah.
And from here, actually, the interesting thing is that even the business ideas, individual business ideas or collective businesses, will have to adapt and adjust to this new way of doing things. A couple of days ago, we had interesting conversation with Uwe about how to combine, building and sustaining your business with the times needed to daydream and, hang up a hammock and just swing and let the inspiration come. And how he said, let the life explain itself to you, in those gap moments between the frames. So the best, ideal business would be that with a minimum effort, you have a maximum result. But in the current version of business, it's more of a super forcing marketing strategy that takes a lot of time, a lot of following up, and a lot of showing up in regular times for kind of pushing the business forward. But what if by daydreaming you could actually find a business that doesn't require any of those lengthy and complicated funnel chart, backlink marketings, you know, the ones that swallow up the most of the time. What if we could just, while resting in the gap, come up with a business idea that is so close to what we organically are that we wouldn't feel like we're working, and we wouldn't feel that we need to heavily lose time by promoting it. It would happen by itself, by its uniqueness and the necessary effort to groom it and to put it in structure, but it wouldn't swallow up the whole, 12 hours of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the question: how to bring the flow in business, how to be performant yet relaxed, and how to even find that in which you would be performant and relaxed.
Yeah. So the whole point that we are suggesting is to look at what is your best expression in the world. So what is this that comes really, really naturally out of who you are, and how is this so inspiring for you to do that it feels like child playing? And when the child starts playing, the time disappears, so the flow is natural. So what is this that is, how to understand and start doing this that is for you really a game, really playing? That's what we
maybe I will say a few words so that it's clear for everybody, because I got really engaged in flow and I did the studies in California about it. So one of the questions during the studies, they ask us a question, okay, tell us, when did you get the most flow in your life? When you were a child, when you were a teenager, a student, and a grown-up? Like a simple question. Like Vittoria already explained what is flow like. So you can imagine it's like everything is happening effortlessly. You feel like out of yourself and time doesn't exist, and it's the richness of everything. So when I was answering this question, I realized that I had three things that made me get into flow. The first was, of course, extreme sports, which is like the easiest. Like usually you do extreme sports and you need to get into flow, because otherwise you will die or you will just break your bones and everything. The second thing was learning. I just realized that when I was learning something, I was like, wow, it was just going inside of me, like in Matrix, like Neo, I know Kung Fu, yeah. And the third one was doing any creatives, like any painting, constructing, doing something creative. And it was all along, like when I was a kid, a teenager, and student. And of course, it looked a bit different, but it was still these three things. And then I realized that when I finished my studies and I started being a grown-up, I stopped doing almost all of them. So I just realized that for the last, I don't know, 18 years, I almost had no flow, because I stopped everything that was giving me the flow. And of course, on the next day, I started doing all of them again. And now I have a lot of flow every day. So just think about it. It's very easy. And then just start doing it again. And that will change your life.
Thank you, Marek.
So you said it, Marek, maybe you have a book to recommend, the Stephen Kotler, maybe, or what would you recommend?
Okay, I will write on chat so it's easier for everyone. It's like that two Bibles of flow. The first one and the main one is Stealing Fire by Jamie Will and Stephen Kotler. And it's like, it's hard to read because it's very scientific, and Jamie likes to use all the sophisticated words that nobody knows. But it's worth reading. I already read it like 3 times, and like it's amazing. It's wonderful. Like you will love every page of it. And the second one is a previous book written by Stephen Kotler, which is The Rise of a Superman, and he analyzes how people doing extreme sports get their flow, but he also translates that into our regular lives, and it's very easy to read. It's translated into many languages, so it's like just read the Superman first, because you will read it within one night, and then get Stealing Fire, which will take you a month.
Send us those links in
I will.
the chat, Marek, please. So,
Yeah, Lisa.
yeah, I'd like to hear some of your examples of flow when you were in flow.
It's more question really that I have about this amazing opportunity that we have to be recreating, collaborating with the world around us, that we seem to be stepping into these paradigms that have proven to be very unsuccessful in the past. So when you're talking about business and all of this, it's like, I don't really understand what you're talking about. When you talk about, when you say, like Evia, when you're saying, you know, at those points in between, and it's like, you know, that you can be in this wonderful state of daydreaming. Shouldn't the daydreaming be the focal point, and the business be the subsidiary? You know, it would, the way you're explaining it, it's like, I think I would rather my life be flipped around the other way. But
yeah,
in order to be in that state of flow, shouldn't we really be going and, as we've been discussing in the past teas, being in that very, very present state and asking nature, asking the non-humans around us, to the elementals, to whatever, how it is that we best serve our earth, and what does the earth want us to do in order to serve the earth and ourselves. So it's, I'd like to think that we have the opportunity to be stepping into completely new paradigms that aren't about superhumans and, you know, these business paradigms and making money and all of these kind of things, that we really do start to connect and do start to inhabit and be flow according to the world that we live in, not the world that we live on top of.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lisa, for that. Actually, let's actually make the reminder here and actually see what we consider to be business. Yeah, when we say business, and I unfortunately have to use the same words as they have been used before so that we understand each other. But business as understood by the new paradigm is you telling the world, guys, I have a gift for the humanity, and I have a gift for the nature. I have a gift for the whole planet. And this is what my gift is. And this is what I would love to give you. And let me know if this would be helpful for you. And if you have distilled inside what is this that your soul has come here to do, and that your soul, you have given yourself that task between the incarnations. So if you understand what it is, and we have ways to actually look at what it is, then for you it is going to feel it's amazingly joyful for me to do this service for humanity, for people, for individuals, for the groups with whom I work, maybe for animals, maybe for plants, whoever you're doing it for. And business part is just letting them know that this exists, you see, because they don't know, because you, otherwise if you keep it for yourself, nobody would know.
Otherwise you would beam that goodness in your little neighborhood in New Zealand, but maybe you can bless the whole world with it, you know.
And the notion that it has to make money and all this actually comes as a consequence, because once that you do offer that service that comes from your heart and from that big mission, well, those who are blessed to receive it will be happy to exchange energy for it with you. So in which kind of form, we still happen to be in a world of money. Well, maybe that translates part of the value to the money system. If we come to the new version of exchanging energy, they will exchange it that way. What I'm envisioning is the way where we are able to beam directly the life energy, prana, or vital units between each other and say, oh, okay, here, I give you part of my vital energy, and you receive it. And we don't have to have indirect source, and especially indirect kind of that is controlled by whatever whoever prints them or something like that.
And I've just got one more observation with butterflies over the last couple of weeks, who are in a flow state. But here they've had a very late warm season, and it's so they have the monarch butterfly. And again, I've had the privilege of watching these butterflies go into these different stages. And only 2 days ago, there's one of the monarchs that is died as a caterpillar on the tree because it left its run too late. And there's another one that made it into the chrysalis form, and it's died in the chrysalis before it's been able to come out as the butterfly. And it's like, all right, butterflies, what are you showing me here? What's going on here, guys? Because it's realistically, the non-humans are the most in-flow things around, and it's like, not that they even get caught up on the fact that they missed the boat in turning into a butterfly. They'll become bird food or ant food or what have you, but just being able to be privy to these different stages of life that have been cut short because of outside external factors, that they missed the boat. So, because all the eggs got laid at the same time. So why did these two little ones just not make it to butterfly and back around in the cycle? But anyway.
We have a beautiful example here as well in our garden. We have a tree that is in northern hemisphere that is actually from southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
And it's trying to get into the flow, but its flow is based on the cycles of the seasons on the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. It's a South African fig tree. So it's completely wired South African timing, and it gives figs in February, under the snow. So it's trying to, do something.
So figs are like this size, yeah. It's like good, thank you, but and also we have this olive that did not want to live in the mountain. Who have ever brought me here? I'm protest and I'm gonna suicide. And the main tree completely dried. But then on second thought, in the third year, there's one little branch coming on the side and say, well, I'll give it a shot, okay. So it's starting to, so it actually is now pretty nice, small part of it that is growing. But it talks about being in a flow somehow with the cycles that are given and improvising their way. But really what we want to point out here, maybe we can give an example of how we get into the flow.
So, you were right when, the resting in between frames comes first, and then the action follows. Then the action is completely irrelevant. So we usually have large mornings. We allow ourselves large mornings with doing nothing and just talking, just talking whatever comes up, the subject of the day. And then at some point at around 12, we re-listen what we have talked about, like casually kind of walking around, looking the flowers, what has grown, what has died, and we realize that there's such a richness in these exchanges seemingly about nothing, about how flowers grow. And when you realize that, okay, we haven't spent half of the day just hanging around, we have actually been laying out signs for ourselves so that the other half of the day we can be very productive in it. And then when we take our morning information or what came up in that morning period around the breakfast, and then we apply it directly to, we can come up maybe, with an online course structure in 2 hours instead of kind of mechanically sitting on it and forcing it for a week. So, and the flow is, we understand, oh, the inspiration has come, I have an idea, I have to write it down, let's sit down and let's write it all the way till the end. And then you get in a vortex completely swallowed by time and space, and nothing exists but just pure flow of energy, and it lays out and the structure comes and the words come and everything comes, and then poof, and then there's a certain end to it, and you look like what we don't know how many hours, what it took, but we have laid out a 5-week online course with all structure, words, details, chapters, things to follow up, and it only took a couple of hours. So
Yeah.
the flow is when you feel that the wave is coming and you actually catch that
Yeah,
moment,
exactly.
you act upon it, sit in it, allow it through till you feel good.
So actually the point, exactly like Evia said now, it is, we look at it as surfing, and it's surfing on the universal, on the waves of the nature energy. But we know what we're looking for. It's like a surfer who has already a surfing board ready and waits to catch the wave. So we seemingly do nothing but wait.
We hang out.
Yeah,
we hang out in
but
the
with the
space,
surfing board, we're ready to catch it. It's not we just hang out and then, you know, let it pass. And consciously look at when the energy is that. So what I would suggest is that you have in your body the flow sense, to develop the flow sense, that this is what you are constantly on the lookout for, but without stress, kind of in the background. And then start doing those favorite things that Marek has said that are for you. Favorite, waiting for that surfboard. And when it comes, well, then you just kind of start doing it, and then it will happen. Something that you want to accomplish happens within super short period of time with super amazing joy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we say, okay, well, now we're going to make pancakes or whatever.
Yeah, and or then we go and play ping pong, you know, to just finish the day. So actually acting on those whims of inspiration without judging, is it the moment, is it not? Should we not waste like the best hour of the day for ping pong? Or like having, you know, clearing up these ideas of what is right when. And also respecting that, for example, we might have landed that online course structure in 3 hours, and we might not come back to it in 1 month, because the next day we contemplate, okay, shall we pursue, shall we do something about it? And then we say, no, it's no, you know, no, not now. And then there will be another day where we'll feel or we will be asked to kind of hand it out, and it will be just ready and there. So it might seem sporadic if you really try to look at it from systemic perspective, but in that sporadic way of catching the flows of the moment, you will actually always show up to the end result with an active, you know, work, which didn't seem like it was a work. You know, some of the companies like Google, they implement this like free schedule for employees that they can hang out and do completely unrelated things as long as the end result is produced. Mm-hmm. And it's becoming increasingly successful, and more people are really, enterprises are trying to implement giving people space and time to do things rather than obliging meetings and everything, because it's super counterproductive in most of cases.
And so, well, what I shared here is, it's really interesting it was interesting for me to see. It's a wake up times for some of the most famous world writers, when they would wake up, you know, what was their cycle of the day and how many books they've written. So it's really interesting to see that this is not everybody needs to wake up really in the morning. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you have a certain favorite way, or is it even conscious or unconscious how you get into the flow? Do you have a way to get in there? Yeah, Angela.
I want to edit the whole time. For me, we are always in the flow, but we not aware of it. I'm working as a musician, trumpet player is my main instrument, and shaman and healer. So my work is with flow, sound, with breath, sound, and intention. And when you were talking about the childhood was the first 7 years is so important. When you think in energies, when the energy come to the womb of the mother, then when we coming out with the first breath is in, we take a breath. So these both energy ropes, I've not coming together with what is all around us. That what they say karma, the Hawaiians say the aka ropes coming together. So with every, and then it's creating the material structure in the first 7 years. And with every breath, we are, when we go forward, we are in this flow, but most of the time we are not aware of it. So every morning, it's just, you need maybe 1 minute to be on this line, to be aware of your breath, what's coming and what you take. And it happens all the time until we're going in the other world, however we call it, to the creator, to universe. And all the things we do with action, with sports, with creativity, for me, it's a way to come to this point where we right on the middle, where these energetic lines meet in ourselves and we are connected with universe. So I think the most important thing for each human is to be aware on this point. Mm-hmm. And all this wisdom is from this point available.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you for the reminder. We had this covered in one of our, I think, 3 or 4 teas ago, that one of the most important thing and most powerful things that we can do in the morning is to actually reconnect and realign ourselves, our energy bodies, and our intention with the Mother Earth and with the center of the universe, and to actually step into that alignment before doing anything else. So we have even a little video that we made where we show how it's done, and I can send you all links if you have missed that one. But super important, the flow is about following those cycles, and one of the most close to our heart cycle is, like Angela shared, a breath. Yeah, we breathe in and breathe out since we were born till the last breath. So that cycle is the one that we really start with.
Mm-hmm. And we have here Cornelia. I don't know if she's behind the screen or not, but Cornelia is a specialist in breath work, and she could share. You could share maybe, Cornelia, about how the breath is actually important to bring us in the present moment, because the flow cannot happen anywhere else but in a super present moment. The flow, the definition of the flow state is when you are so one with yourself, with the universe, with the time, with everything, that there are no boundaries between you and anything around you. So, and the breath is always what every meditation says, okay, follow your breath, stay present, stay here. And yeah, maybe Cornelia have something to share about it. Something that works for you.
Thank you, Evia. I think you said it already beautifully, that what reconnects you with the present moment and with your present state of being is the breath. It's enough just to observe it, maybe. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Is it okay? So just the observation of the breath, and but also, which is helping me every morning, is taking really, really deep breaths for a few minutes and observing the cycle of breathing and what is changing, and maybe just realizing how was my state before the breathing and how is it afterwards. And you can see immediately that you can think more clearly, some visions come, maybe sometimes also dreams come back to you. You can realize what the dreams were about, which are also nice messages for you. And yeah, just the feeling of being alive in the body. this is really amazing after breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll share at some point also some breathing techniques like pranic breathing, something that gives energy and brings all of your senses in the present moment. Because the way the life went, you know, most of the time, it's so fast that it's not natural to what human biorhythm even is. So we had to compensate and to keep up with all our senses, which hugely got people out of the awareness of the moment of now. And we all know that Eckhart Tolle has written the book about power of now, and every spiritual teacher is praising the moment of now. Well, we have to say that all we have anyways is a moment of now, and giving it more attention and taking it beyond the cliches of be here and now, but really understanding what is that life potential that is hidden under every moment, which is a miracle in itself. So the universes are created and timelines are changed only in the moment of now. Anything we want to create, do, modify from past or future, it only can happen in the moment of now, where our awareness is fully present. So if cultivating full presence is hugely accelerating the connection to the state of flow. So there's even little exercise to go in the state of flow. It says, for example, give it 90 minutes. If you really have a project and you want to do it in a flow, give it 90 minutes altogether, but start with first 15 minutes where you're just, let's say you have to write a presentation or project or write something that you have no inspiration for. So the first 15 minutes, you just sit at your page or open laptop and you just, you know, grab a tea, coffee, but be acutely aware of what's on your table, aware of the pencil in your hand, and just observe what is here and now. And you can start talking yourself or writing anything that's not related. You don't have to dive in a topic even. And the first 15 minutes, if you manage to be fully present on what you're doing, will actually get you to the moment that you have all experienced at some point, that it clicks. It clicks, and then the words just start flowing. And they flow, and you almost wish for no one and nothing to come or ask you anything, interrupt in any ways. You're just, it's just coming through. And it wouldn't last for it can last for hours, but you can stop after 45 minutes. And if the flow hasn't kicked in after 15 minutes, then most likely you just better, you know, do something else and come back to it later. That means that mind is still too busy in doing something else.
So actually what I feel like sharing with you guys, if you would like, is a meditation that actually connects you to the center of the earth and the great central sun, and then puts you into your heart, and then opens that heart as the center of creation and center of the flow. So if you feel like maybe let's go through that meditation, and it's going to be recorded on the call, so you can kind of use it for yourselves when you want to put yourself in a flow. Do you feel like that? Yeah? Okay. Yeah? Okay. So then close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And with a deep breath out, release everything from your cells, every thought, every feeling, anything that came before this. And we will take 3 deep breaths like this. Second deep breath in. And breathe out through your mouth. And releasing everything. Feel how everything from all of your cells gets released and gets out. And with One more breath in. And with the breath out, we take all the worries, all the thoughts, all the emotions, everything comes out. And now visualize a little small diamond right in the center of your head, in the center of your brain. It's a diamond, small diamond. And feel it in. And with your breath, take the diamond down into your throat. And feel how it feels to be in your throat. Look around. It's maybe a little softer than in the head. And then take this diamond one step down. With the next breath, take it down into your heart. And now it's in the center of your heart. And again, observe, just feel. Feel how it is to be in the center of your heart. So now we're in the center of the heart. And with your next in-breath, you take a kernel of love that exists in your heart. Your heart is the factory of love. So take the kernel of that love and send it all the way down your lower chakras into the center of the earth. And feel it go down. Connect. Connect. Go down. And imagine that it connects into the liquid crystal that is a mother crystal that is in the center of the earth. And feel that love flowing from your heart, love for Mother Earth, love for the rivers, love for the forests, oceans, air, animals, birds. And feel that the Mother Earth sends this love right back to you, from the center of the earth back to your heart, along the beautiful golden thread. And really wait to feel that love of Mother Earth. She will send love right into your heart, because at every moment of your existence, you are completely and utterly loved by her. She's your mother. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to say anything. That love is there all the time. So just feel it pour into your heart. So with each breath out, you give more love to Mother Earth. With each breath in, you receive more love in. Breath out, you give love to Mother Earth. Breath in, you receive Mother Earth's love into your heart. And with this bell, I am fortifying the golden thread of love, of exchange between you and Mother Earth right now. So now we are going back to our hearts. And imagine that with your next breath in, you take the little kernel of love from your heart and you send it up through your third eye, through your crown chakra, all the way through the sun and through the great central sun, center of the galaxy, and through the center of the all galaxies around us, and all the way up to the great energy creator of all that is. This is your love sent to the creator of all that is. And you can imagine that you love this universe, you love sun, you love planets, you love stars, you love this beautiful starry night. That love you're sending out with your breaths to the great universal creator of all that is. And wait until you receive love back. This love will come from the depths of the universe, beyond space and time, beyond material world, and then it will incarnate through the center of all galaxies, and through the center of our galaxy, and through the sun, and all the way down your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, and down into the heart. So feel this exchange. With your breath out, you send more love to the great creator of all that is. And with the breath in, you inhale that love back into your heart. With the breath out, we give our love to the creator of all that is. With the breath in, we take that love in. And just feel how it is. You're loved at every moment by the great creator of all that is. There's again nothing you need to do. It's there at every moment of your life. It's such a reassuring feeling that you're loved at every moment. You don't need to do anything, just as you are. And now, put your attention in the center of your heart, and we will try to do both at the same time. So with your breaths in, feel those loves from Mother Earth and from the great creator of all that is pouring from up and down into your heart. And with the breaths out, you blow your love down and up at the same time. So let's try it. With the breath in, love comes from below and above and fills your heart. And with your breath out, we blow up and down our love to Mother Earth and to great creator world that is. Again, with the breath in, we take that love in from both directions, and with the breath out, we blow love and exchange love with both of those directions. And one more time, breath in, get all this love in, and with exhale, we blow all the way out. And now, with this bell, I'm fortifying those two connections, golden thread of love and light, up and down from your heart, and they're there forever. Right now, we have forged them into your energy body, and they're there forever. All you need to do is just think about them. And we will do just one more thing. Now, with the next inhale, we will inhale all this love coming from Mother Earth and from great creator all that is. And we will blow it and inflate our hearts with this love as a balloon, and feel it growing into the size of 1 meter around your physical heart. So we do it again. Inhale all this love and power from Mother Earth and great creator all that is, and blow it into your heart and make it even larger. It's 2 meters large now. And once again, inhale all this love and inflate your heart to 5 meters around you. And with this next blow in, blow it into your heart and make it the size of the entire universe. And let's dwell for one moment in your heart, the size of the universe. And feel your normal breaths. With every breath, you receive that amazing amount of love. And with every breath out, you're giving out the amazing amount of love. And with this bell, I'm fortifying this vision into the energy structure of your body. And whenever you feel like, you can visualize it just momentarily, instantaneously by the willpower. Feel how it feels when you breathe in all this love, and feel how it feels when you breathe out all this love. All of us are bathing in the love of your heart right now, collectively. You're bathing the whole humanity. How does it feel? So now, once you have felt that, maybe dwell for 3 more breaths into that feeling. And now when we felt this, and it feels so beautiful, with next 3 breaths, we will re-deflate the size of our heart into the normal physical shape of the heart. So 1 inhale, it's back to 2 meters. Another inhale, it's back to 1 meter. And the third inhale, it's back to the normal size of your heart. And with the next breath in, come back to the room where you are and feel your contact with the seat. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you.
So, guys, this is the structure. This is the size of the love that flows in and out of you with every breath you take. So, even being aware of that in your everyday, every step you make will make a difference in your day. Instant coming into the flow of divine energies and love.
And one little last question we had named in the outline for today was, is it safe to trust that there is flow, and is it safe to try to live that way? Because
so this is your answer. Is it safe? Does it feel safe now?
Mm-hmm. Voilà.
So just maybe I would like to hear from few people. How does it feel after this journey? Yes, Anna. We don't hear you. I think you're...
Okay, now you hear me, yeah?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it feels so huge and so real and so good to be in. But the first feeling that and question that showed up at the end of the meditation was, how would it be to stay with heart that's huge, and why we had to go back, for safety reasons or why?
I wanted you to come back in order that you feel that you can expand and contract and actually make it the size that you want. So, for example, if you're communicated with another person, before starting that communication, you can inflate your heart to encompass just 2 of you. And then you have a loving exchange with one person. But also when you're doing a public session, you can encompass your heart to maybe involve the part of the city that you're in, or maybe the whole country, but also maybe the whole universe with all the planets. And this is exactly how you rise in size and shrink in size according to what you want to look at. It's almost like microscope. So where do you want your attention to be? So I wanted it to be as large as the universe, and then also as small as your physical heart, because that's where everything is anyway.
Okay, but why not stay all the time with open heart for the whole universe?
Try it. Do it. Try it.
What would all of us would try to do exactly that.
Try it and see how it is.
Okay.
It might be that you would then forget about paying attention to just your daughter, but you would actually take upon the questions of the whole universe, because literally you're tuning into the level of the question and interaction. If you inflate your heart to the size of your country, well, then you will be solving the particular problems of the country, want it or not, because whatever you do will actually radiate to that level. And you will be solving the things on the size of the universe. So you will be actually start to get conscious about unseen forces that operate on the universe that you might not even know about. So you would open yourself up to that interaction.
Okay, but
The
doesn't
question whether you are ready for this at this moment or
Hmm.
not, but try, see what happens.
Doesn't it involve all the smaller circles also? My daughter, my house, my friends, and everything.
Well, this is exactly what God does. He's able to take his attention to all of those levels. For us, we are getting to that level. And right now, when you meditate, you can be painfully aware how tricky it is to hold attention even to just one thing. So that's why I'm saying try, and
Okay.
what happens.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Anne's hand, I think, is up from before. Anyone else? How does it feel after this reconnection? Actually, after the reminder of what you are.
Hi. I'm gonna try to share to answer the question of, does it feel safe to allow yourself to be in the state of flow? I think that my experience of the last couple of weeks, I find it interesting how I suddenly noticed in myself that I lost energy or interest to accept projects or to work on certain projects that no longer help me grow. So at first I find a bit of I didn't find that kind of idea to stop doing what I do, somewhat. I find there was a bit of a resistance within me to really accept that idea. And so the last week, I just did not do anything. I allowed myself to just be, and I did not do anything. And then just a few days ago, while I was showering, it was when the idea of a project that speaks to my soul came in. And right after showering, I went to my laptop and I started writing down all the ideas. And then I started doing the work to get it to at least, small steps to get there. And then I noticed it was already 10 o'clock in the evening. But it was when I let go of the resistance, when the insight came in and the idea came in. And it was when I allowed myself to be there that the flow started to be there. I was there on the flow.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Gail, how did you feel after this meditation?
I felt there was so much light when I was my eyes was closed, and I felt so safe afterwards. Yeah, it was really good. I always have that feeling with you guys doing the ceremony. So thank you so much for your energy.
Very, very, very helpful. Happy that we can hold that space.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful answer. Is it safe to let go of what we know and surrender to the flow? Well, yes, it is. It is actually the safest thing to do, because it can only bring you closer to yourself.
Guys, something to know, like this is the state in which we were now, is you will never be given situation or task that you are not able to deal with. And you will be given only those situations and tasks that you're ready to be faced with in order to grow. This amount of love that's pouring in our heart at every moment is really a guarantee for that. So, if something we need to learn here is to stop really selling ourselves short, or actually accepting less than pure joy and magic. That's what we are here to do.
So eventually getting out of structures and into the magic, that's where we're heading. And anyways, we can find to enhance more magic, less restrictions. That's how we live, and that's how we would like to share.
So any questions, any comments before we close? Thank you guys for your engagement so far. So let us know. Is there anything you would like to ask? Is there anything you'd like to comment?
I would just like to thank you. It was amazing and something that I really needed. And it reminded me how beautifully you can hold space for people. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you,
thank you for your email. It was so heartwarming. Thank you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Angela wanted to share as well. Thank you, Cornelia. We don't hear Angela. Mike.
Yes.
Yes, we hear you now.
I also want to say thank you for the time and to reminding me. And I have a question. Did you get the shakuhachi? Yes. Yes. Wait, I have to make you bigger.
This is a Japanese flute that actually
I want to see where.
Tool for bringing you back to the present moment immediately.
I know, and on the end is this. Can you show me the end a little bit nearer?
This one?
No, the other.
Ah, yeah.
Oh wow! Well done.
Well, yeah, this is about 200 years old.
Wow! 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 Great.
Well, there you go. Tools to put you in the moment of now. If you can get the Japanese flute, shakuhachi, you will have absolutely, your life will change.
Yeah.
And anything else, dancing, any body movements get you into the moment of now, because as Marek said, otherwise you die. You just have to be present. So get yourself moving, ping-ponging, dancing, juggling, standing on one finger, anything that you can think of that requires full attention and full presence.
Angela, did we cut you, or you had to say anything else?
Thank you. And looking forward to hear this instrument.
Yeah, we will. We will connect about that on another channel. Well, thank you guys. So beautiful to share with you. Actually, so beautiful to feel you all in my heart when we were opening and embracing each other. It was so amazing. I actually felt your different qualities of energy. So this is so cool. So thank you for trusting us, and thank you for being here, and thank you for creating this with us. So sending you much love. And
have a great weekend.
Yes, and
cultivate
see you next
the flow.
time.
Watch out for the signs. Find your inner timing, and if the timing is right, let's meet again next week. And stay safe and beautiful till then.
Yeah. Ciao.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you.